Assalamu alaikum class. Hope you are enjoying good health. This is your physics period. Today we are going to start our new chapter and new topic, that is electrostatics. Electrostatics, the study of charges at rest, is called electrostatic or static electricity. Under this, we will describe different properties of static charges such as electric force and electric field, etc. So, electrostatics deals with the behavior of charges, with the properties of charges, with the interaction of charges with one another when they are at rest. How do they interact with each other? When two charges, they will attract each other. When two charges will repel each other, and how much force one charge exerts on another charge, and all these things are studied under electrostatics. Production of electric charges. If we run a plastic comb through our hair and then bring it near small pieces of paper, the comb attracts them. Similarly, amber, when rubbed with silk, attracts small pieces of paper. This property of attraction or repulsion between substances is due to the electric charges and they acquire during rubbing. We can produce electric charge by rubbing a neutral body with another neutral body. So when we rub a neutral body with another neutral body, they acquire charge. And remember, this process of rubbing makes a neutral body a charged body only for insulators. So here we will consider some examples and we will take experiment for explanation, but in all these cases we will consider only insulators, those bodies which are insulator for electricity and cannot conduct current through them, meaning to say they do not have free electrons in them. So by the process of rubbing, when one object is rubbed with another object, it acquires charge, it acquires power of attraction or repulsion in it, and we say that this object, which was initially neutral, now it has become a charged particle, a charged body. Now we consider an experiment. Take a plastic rod, rub it with fur, and suspend horizontally by a silk thread. Now take another plastic rod, rub it with fur, and bring it near to the suspended rod. We will observe that both the rods will repel each other. It means during the rubbing, both the rods were charged. In this experiment, we have taken a plastic rod and we have rubbed it with fur in each case. So meaning to say, The two bodies which were brought close to each other, they were similar bodies and they were rubbed with the same object, meaning to say they were plastic rod and they were rubbed with fur. So it means they acquire same type of charge on them, and due to this reason they repel each other. Another experiment, we take another experiment to explain this phenomenon. Take a glass rod and rub it with silk and suspend it horizontally. When we bring the plastic rod rubbed with fur near to the suspended glass rod, we observe that both the rods attract each other. In the first experiment, both the rods are of plastic and both of them have been rubbed with fur. Therefore, we assume that charge on both the rods would be of the same kind. But here in this experiment, we have taken two rods but of different nature. One is glass rod and other is plastic rod. Glass rod is rubbed with silk and plastic rod is rubbed with fur. Due to this reason, they acquire opposite charge and they attract each other. No doubt when we bring a charged body with another charged body, then there will be an interaction between them. There will be some type of force between them. This force may be attractive or repulsive. If the charges on the two bodies, they are of same nature, then they will repel each other. And different kinds of charge is present on the two bodies, then they will attract each other. In the second experiment, rods are unlike and their attraction implies that charges on the two rods are not of the same kind but of opposite nature. So definitely they have different types of charge on them. Now, types of charge. There are two types of charge, positive charge and negative charge. Conclusion from experiments. So, we have considered two experiments, and from these two experiments we have obtained some results. On the basis of these results, we conclude some points about the outcomes of the experiments. During the process of rubbing, negative charge is transferred from one object to another object. I have told you this rubbing process makes a neutral body a charged body. Only the type of object must be an insulator. For conductors, there is another method which will be discussed later. So this rubbing method is not applied in conductors for charging them to produce charge on them. Only insulators, they are rubbed with each other and then they acquire charge. And remember, when they acquire charge, only there is migration of electrons from one side to another side. For example, we have taken glass rod and rubbed it with silk. In this case, glass rod acquires positive charge and silk acquires negative charge. And when plastic rod is rubbed with fur, then plastic rod acquires negative charge and fur acquires positive charge. So never think that there is migration of positive charge from one side to another side. Only electrons they leave or they arrive on that object. If electrons they leave the object, that object becomes positively charged. So in these experiments, the glass rod becomes positively charged when it is rubbed with silk cloth. It means electrons from glass rod they move into silk cloth. So there will be plenty of electrons in the silk cloth. Due to this reason, we say that it has acquired negative charge. And due to deficiency of electrons on glass rod, there will be net positive charge on it, and we say that it is positively charged now. But it doesn't mean that it has acquired positive charge from silk cloth. No, only electrons they can leave, they can come on that object by the process of rubbing. And when electrons they are migrated from one object to another object, they reside on the surface of object, and they do not move and intermix into the whole substance. They just reside on the surface, on that area where the rubbing was completed. From above experiments, we conclude that. So here are certain outcomes of these experiments. These are conclusion about these experiments. First one, charge is basic property of a material body due to which it attracts or repels another object. Second, friction produces two different types of charge on different materials such as glass and plastic. So among these two, one leaves, one donates electrons and other acquires electrons. So plastic acquires electron from fur and glass gives electron to silk cloth when they are rubbed with silk cloth and fur. So migration of electron is completed. It takes place from one side to another side. Next point, like charges always repel each other. Meaning to say, positive will repel each other, negative will repel each other. There will be force between two charges, but this force will be repulsive nature force, not attractive nature force. Next point is, unlike charges always attract each other. So positive, negative, they attract each other because positive and negative charges, they are unlike charges. These are opposite charges, so they attract each other. They never repel each other. Repulsion is sure test of charge on body. Whenever we are observing whether this body has any charge or not, so if the two bodies they repel each other, so then this is 100% true, this is 100% correct that they are charged bodies. And if there is a force of attraction, then maybe one is charged body and other is a conductor, which is very close to charged body. So even then there will be force of attraction between them. They may be both may be opposite, both may have opposite nature of charge. Meaning to say, one has positive charge, another has negative charge. Even they will attract each other. But if one is charged body and other is any conductor, even then there will be force of attraction between them. And a process in this case is involved, which is named as induction. So we will discuss this topic in our next lesson. Electric field. So every charge has certain area, certain region, certain boundary around it within which it can exert force on another charge. Just like Earth has a certain area, certain space around it within which it can exert a force of attraction on other bodies. So that area, that space is called gravitational field of Earth. Similarly, every charge, whether it is small charge or large charge, it is weak charge or strong charge, it has certain area around it. So that area, that region, that space within which it can exert a force of attraction or repulsion on another charge, that area, that space is known as electric field of that charge. The electric field is a region around a charge in which it exerts electrostatic force on another charge. Students, this electrostatic force, sometimes it is attractive force and sometimes it is repulsive force. But the gravitational force of Earth is every time attractive force. It is never repulsive force. But the force between two types of charges may be attractive or repulsive. It depends on the nature of charge which are interacting with each other. Electric field is represented with lines called electric field lines or electric lines of force. These lines have certain properties. We will take into account these electric field lines in our next lesson. Electric field intensity. The strength of an electric field at any point in space is known as electric field intensity. How much strong an electric field is at any point, that is called its electric field intensity. Basically, it is electric field intensity at any point is defined as the force acting on a unit positive charge placed at that point. Actually, this is the value of force which is experienced by an other charge which comes in the field of first charge. So there are these two charges. One is charge which is experiencing force and other is the charge which has its own field. So when outer charge comes in the field of one charge, that charge which has its field, that is called source charge, and the charge which experiences force which comes into the field of another charge, so that charge is known as test charge. So normally test charge is of small value and the source charge is that of large value charge. So one has its field and other experiences its force which is being exerted on it. So one charge is called source charge and other charge is called test charge. So with the help of test charge, we can check whether the electric field exists or it does not exist at any point which is under observation. So students, today we have studied about electrostatics, the branch of physics, the branch of science which deals with the behavior of charges, properties of charges at rest. Remember, In electrostatics, we do not take any charge in motion. So the charges, they are at rest, and how do they behave with each other? So that is studied in electrostatics. There are two types of charge. One is positive charge and other is negative charge. So today we have studied how an insulator which is neutral gets charged. So we have come to know that by the process of rubbing, a neutral body may acquire charge on it. This charge may be positive or negative. It depends on the nature of that object. Some objects, they lose electrons, and some objects, they gain electrons. Those objects which gain electrons, they acquire negative charge, and those materials which lose electrons, they get positive charge on them. So by the process of rubbing, a neutral insulator can be charged, and these electrons which are migrated from one side to another side, they reside on the surface of that object where they come. And then we have taken into account two experiments, and with the help of those experiments, we have derived some results, and according to those results, like charges, they attract each other, and they like charges, they repel each other, and unlike charges, they attract each other. And moreover, repulsion between two bodies is the sure test that these are charged bodies. So next, we have studied about electric field. So electric field is a region, a space, or area around a charge. Within it can exert a force on another charge. Moreover, electric field intensity, this is the strength of electric field at any point. How much strength of electric field of any charge is at a particular point, that is termed as electric field intensity. So this is all about today's lesson. Thank you and good luck.